wrap up our New Year, New Job series today, and you've landed the job, say, learned how to even navigate the workplace and make a difference in your role. But now let's talk about paying it forward. Author of Prep, Push, Pivot, and career coach Octavia Goredema is back with us this morning to talk about how to support one another in the movement of breaking barriers. Good morning, Octavia.
Good morning, Nigel. Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you back. And, you know, I said during commercial break when we were talking, I only wished that your book would have been available when I was earlier in my career. It would have saved me so much heartache. So I think it's so amazing what you're doing, and the information you're providing us is so valuable. But let's transition now and learn, how do we establish a relationship, say, with other young Black women of color, and sort of mentor them and provide our experiences for them so they don't go through the same thing?
Well, this is such an important topic. Paying it forward matters so much because there are so few of us. And it can be easy to forget when we're growing our own careers that we can impact others along the way. So if you have the opportunity to be a mentor, seize it. When you're working with your mentee, provide a safe space to be a sounding board for that person. Ask questions and really listen, because remember, even though they might have come to you for perspectives and advice, their journey might be different to yours, and you want to set that person up for success.
Women of color are advancing. That's good news, but we still lag behind so much our white counterparts. So how can we position ourselves to best cut through these ceilings? And, you know, when we talk about the barriers that women face, we call it the glass ceiling. I feel like as a woman of color, it's a brick wall. It's a brick ceiling.
It's so true. There are so many barriers that we face. If you have the opportunity to mentor someone else, be honest about what it has taken for you to get where you are in your journey. Often we see the ascent and we don't see everything that comes along with it. And there is so much. And if you as an individual are trying to break that ceiling, it's going to take persistence. It's going to take patience, but you need to be really clear about what you want. You need to communicate what you're building towards. You need to think about, where can I be visible? What do I want to be known for? Who do I have in my corner? Look at your circle, and are there allies and advocates who can speak up for you? And if not, you want to start building those networks, and that can take time. But if you make that investment, you'll be setting yourself up for new opportunities. And then there's one other thing I want to say, and I talk about this in my book, that set yourself up for what comes next once you've achieved that milestone, because breaking barriers hurts. You need that circle of support as you're pushing forwards, because when you come through the other side, then you need that network to help you continue to thrive.
And I also think it's important that if the network isn't in your own work environment, to maybe seek it elsewhere. I want to talk about a stereotype that we have to really work to overcome as women of color, particularly Black women, and that's that if we're assertive, we're deemed as aggressive. And I don't think that's the same for women of other ethnic groups. So how do we maintain assertiveness and command respect without falling into that stereotype where then people say we're aggressive?
Yeah, it's a really hard line, and one that I have struggled with as a Black woman in the workplace as well. But this is what I say to anyone who asks this question. Commanding respect starts with self-respect. It really does. Know your values, and know that often our worth and validation and respect comes much, much later, after we've laid all the groundwork and done all of the work that we need to do. So really anchor your career values. That's one of the concepts I talk about in my book. Know who you are, what you bring to the table, what you need to do your best work, and keep moving forwards and lead by example.
You know, as women, Black women in particular, our appearance is always so scrutinized, right? So what do you tell women that you're coaching about appearance and putting their best foot forward, but also about modeling professionalism for younger women?
I think it's really hard because often women feel that double scrutiny, but I say this to any professional that I'm coaching, regardless of their gender. Be your authentic self. And if you are not in a space that can value and respect you as your authentic self, then you're in the wrong space. Be authentic, be true to you.
And, we know it's an issue because there are, laws like the Crown Act that have to be enacted to protect
Yes.
Black women so they can wear their natural hair without the threat of repercussions. When we're putting our best foot forward, can you talk a little bit about sort of the guidelines in terms of getting in touch with your sort of ethnic self in a workplace?
Yeah, I think the fact that we've needed legislation such as the Crown Act shows there's still a long way to go. It can be really hard, but it's important to know your rights. It's important to know your rights in terms of the state where you are, in terms of what is there to protect you. But you really do need to be your authentic self in terms of if your employer is disrespecting or not valuing who you are and who you bring to the table, then you need to get the support that you need in terms of whether that's from HR or consulting your employee handbook. And if worst case scenario, if you are being discriminated against, then you need professional advice from an employment lawyer. But as a coach, my work is really centered on helping people do their best work so that they can thrive. And that really starts with knowing the sorts of environments you want to be in, how you want to feel when you're at work, the sort of skills you want to leverage. And that's why paying it forward, this topic we're talking about today, really matters because we need to support our peers on this journey. We need to support the professionals that are following in our footsteps. That way we can all advance.
Well, thank you so much, Octavia, for your insight and information this week. Prep, Push, Pivot is available via Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or at your favorite Black-owned bookstore.